Hey guys, before we start this episode, I wanted to talk to you about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing line that proceeds of the shirts and tanks and everything else goes to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. So this all came about with me and seeing a 5-year-old girl in the emergency department that had new onset of diabetes. So just take a look at the website. It's www.type1lifting.com. So just check it out. If you don't buy anything, that's perfectly fine. I would just like for you just to take a look and just see what we have. So like I said before, www.type1lifting.com. And guys, I hope you enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome to the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have the youngest guest on the podcast and probably for quite some time. Her name is Emma Stringfellow. She is a CrossFitter and fellow Type 1 diabetic. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, so I actually found you through a friend of mine. She actually DM'd me and said, hey, you better check this girl out. And so I saw your Instagram page and I immediately followed, and I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta check her out. So, and you are quite the boss for doing CrossFit workouts too, from what I've seen. So,
thank you. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, nice. So, when did you get diagnosed as a Type 1 diabetic?
I was diagnosed in 2016, so 4 years ago. And I was 13 years old. So. My sister actually has had it since she was 3.
Okay.
She's 14.
Okay.
And so I kind of grew up with someone in the family who had it. So that definitely made my diagnosis a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what happened is I was just feeling like thirsty all the time and just didn't feel well, dizzy. And I was at gymnastics. I was a competitive gymnast at the time. And so I was at gymnastics practice and fell off the gymnastics, like the beam.
Yep.
Like, I don't feel good. Something's not right.
Yeah.
So I pricked my finger on my sister's monitor, and it was 516.
Wow.
Yeah, we were like, that's not normal.
Yeah. So does that number is that like number like stuck in your head like the whole time? Yeah, that was with me.
I have like a photo kind of in my mind of like 516.
Yeah. For me, so I got diagnosed like later on in life, and the two numbers that I remember are 390 and 271. 390 was when I first got diagnosed. Then I did like a 12-hour fasting, and then and it was pretty much like 271. So that's when I knew those are the numbers like are ingrained in my head, just like the 500 number that you have. So.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Yeah. So how did your parents? Are your parents diabetic at all, or is just you and your sister?
Just my sister and I.
Okay. So how is your parents like dealing with two siblings being diagnosed as a diabetic throughout the whole time?
They are very supportive and great with it. My mom especially is just amazingly supportive and has always been there through like the good times and the bad times, and I think they handle it well. There hasn't been anything where they've been like, oh, you can't do that because you have type 1 diabetes. Like, they've always been like, if you want to do something, like, go try it.
Yeah.
See what you're capable of.
Awesome. So when you got that, when you like fell in gymnastics, were you still doing gymnastics after you got diagnosed, or were you playing any other sports, or like what was it like?
When I was diagnosed, I was a competitive gymnast, and then I also did rec soccer, just kind of as my side sport, on and off. But gymnastics was my main sport at the time. Okay.
And then did you have any like lows or highs during like practices, and like how did you and your mom like manage, dealing with the diabetes like during practice?
During practices with the gymnastics, I didn't really have any issues with it actually. So I was using a like pricking my finger.
Yep.
To check it, and so I do that every other hour during practice.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2-hour practices, so the 2 hours weren't an issue. And then we had 1 4-hour practice, which I would check in the middle to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I didn't have any issues with it during gymnastics.
Okay.
And soccer, I just always had to kind of keep sugar with me. And if I felt, dizzy or like need a lot of water,
mm-hmm.
I would make sure that I was in a good range.
Okay, awesome. And then since you're in high school, how were the kids like in high school with your diabetes?
I'm actually homeschooled.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier. Yes. All my food is at home, so that makes it a lot easier to have access to whatever I need.
Mm-hmm.
And the judgment from the kids is definitely like different because I'm not at school with them,
Yeah.
So yeah, but in general, with like kids on soccer teams and gymnastics teams, most of them have been very supportive of it.
Okay.
I've never like tried to hide my diabetes,
mm-hmm.
really. I'd say there was a stage, maybe for a month after diagnosis, where I was kind of like, I don't know, this is a little weird.
Yeah.
Because my sister had it, so I was used to it, but my friends weren't used to me having it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say I really tried to hide it because I was like, well, this is part of who I am now, so
yeah. So
deal with it.
Yeah. So do your friends like want to like prick your finger or like give you injections or anything like that? Yeah.
I've never had a friend who wanted to give me an injection, although I have offered. But they have wanted to prick my finger, and I let them.
Yeah.
They thought it was really cool.
Yeah. I've only had, I think, 2 people inject insulin in me. It was my doctor and my wife, because I was driving at the time, and obviously driving in, taking insulin is not really the best idea. So she actually injected it in my shoulder while I was like driving. So those were the only 2 times that I've actually let somebody, inject like insulin in me. But very, very cool. So obviously, like you started when did you start in CrossFit? So like now, like I've seen a lot of your postings are like CrossFit related. So when did you get involved with that?
I started CrossFit in early December of 2018, so about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And I had never heard of CrossFit before I started it. So, we moved to Pensacola, and I had been in American Ninja Warrior training.
Okay.
Before we moved.
Yeah.
And there was no gym to do that here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like I needed that, being homeschooled, I needed that socialization and just activity. I've always loved being athletic.
Yep.
And so my mom actually worked out at an Anytime Fitness, and she was like, there's a CrossFit gym right behind where I work out if you want to try it. And at first, I gotta say, I resisted a little bit because I was like, it's all adults, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I'm just gonna try it. And day one, I knew like this was what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So do you remember the workout the first day that you were there at all, or?
I remember working on front squats, and then I remember wall balls.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge fan of wall balls.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just remember it was really hard.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is really cool because like I want to get better.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So how tall are you roughly?
I'm 5'4".
Yeah, that's probably why the wall balls aren't your favorite. I'm 6'6",
No.
so I love doing wall balls and like rowing and all that stuff. And actually, thrusters is like another one I like doing, even though it's like a long distance for going up and down. But I if anything over my head, I can keep it up there. So which is awesome. So when did you realize like you started getting like when did you start when you noticed when you're doing CrossFit like, hey, this can actually lead to something for you?
So basically, I had been doing CrossFit for about 2 months, and the 2019 CrossFit Open came around, and my coach was like, "Oh, you should try this. You should do it. See where you place." And so I went scaled that year, and after 2 months, I got 14th in the world of scaled girls, and I was like, there's definitely something here.
Yeah.
Because I had never done it before, and I was like, I was very happy with that performance, and was like, I enjoy this, so I wanna pursue it and see where it goes.
Yeah, that was very smart. That was very smart of you doing scaled like right off the bat, because
Funny story, I didn't want to go scaled, and my coach was like, "No, you're gonna go scaled, and we're gonna see." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And he was like, "Yes." And I'm glad that he chose scaled.
Yeah, because I've actually seen like friends of mine do the open and like not doing scale the first year, and I didn't do scale the first year, and like it just absolutely destroyed me, and so and it's
very unprepared.
Yeah, and so like I had no clue what was going on, and then my friends had no clue, and so then we realized once how bad we were, obviously we needed to get better, and so that was a good way of like testing it out. But I personally, for me, I should have gone scaled, I thought. So, but I was like typical 20-year-old, like in my late 20s, being like, oh, I'm a cool dude. Like I'll hang out with the rest of the guys, and just
that's how I felt.
Yeah, it was a big mistake.
I can just see where I place, but I wouldn't even have been able to do some of the movements.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That was 18 was a tough year. So definitely.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your blood sugar throughout the doing CrossFit? So and typically like how long are your like training cycles?
So I typically train for an hour and a half at night, and then on Saturday I'll train for 2 hours.
Okay.
And then I also sometimes I'll swim, and that's I'd say in the pool about 30 minutes.
Okay. And then how are your sugars throughout like the whole? Do you have any issues with like going high after like a Metcon or anything like that?
Yes, I've actually I've struggled a lot with managing the blood sugar with CrossFit,
mm-hmm.
just because different workouts affect it differently. So when we're weightlifting, I usually will go up a lot, and then anything cardio and conditioning, I'll like just start dropping.
Really?
Yes.
That's really interesting because it's the complete opposite for me. Like I'll like weightlifting wise, like I'll stay like a little bit low, but like at like a normal range. But like when the Metcons or like higher interval stuff comes, like my sugar's just through the roof, like 300s. So
okay.
Yeah, and so
that's interesting.
Yeah, so how do you know? Do you like what are the symptoms for you when you actually get like low or high? Do you feel anything at all or?
When I'm high, I wouldn't say my head starts hurting a little bit, but otherwise I'd say I'm fine. Low on the other hand, I'll get real shaky. My hands will start shaking, and I'll get dizzy and lightheaded.
Okay.
And so that's kind of when I'm like, hey, coach.
Yeah.
I don't feel so great.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always there. I have a Dexcom right now.
Okay, very cool.
To monitor at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been a lifesaver.
Yeah.
So you can look at that while I'm working out and see my trends and everything.
Okay, very cool. So what kind of programming do you follow? Is it like a certain like comp train or like is it the gym's programming or?
Yeah. So the gym has Randy Malakowski has a competitors training. That's my coach.
Okay.
And so it's all his programming.
Okay.
Yep. So he does that, and then I just follow that.
Yeah. So what is the typical programming for you with his programming?
Typically, I would say we start off with a strength piece, like some accessory work,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll run through 1 to 2 Metcons, and then for part of our warm up, actually, we have what we call 2-bys. So we'll go through max rep sets of gymnastics movements.
Ooh, yeah.
It gets intense.
Yeah.
Just to keep volume up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely been great too.
Awesome.
So I think that's a usual day.
Yeah. And so, are you still like since with like the coronavirus, are you still able to train anywhere or like in your garage or where are you working out? Or you're just kind of taking a little break right now?
So right now the gym is closed, but I've been able to do a little bit of like some private training with my coach just to kind of keep fitness up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
Yeah. I hear you. I think there's a lot of people that are struggling with like working out, and like unlike me, I kind of saved up like a barbell, weights, everything just down in my basement. So if like you see my Instagram page, like I have like a lot of the things I have in the basement, like, and I buy like old stuff just to kind of like have something. So if I just have time on the weekends, because I usually when I work out at a global gym that has like a weightlifting area, and so I'll just like train there, and then on the weekends I'll just go to my basement and work out down there. So yeah, so
Okay.
I've been pretty lucky. My gym setup's pretty nice. So yeah, it's awesome. So the last Open, something happened, right? You were able to make it in. You got something.
The age group online qualifier.
All right, awesome. So what did you place in that?
In the age group online qualifier or the Open?
The Open.
The Open, I placed 131st in the world.
Okay, very cool.
Super excited about that. And so for the teens and masters, the top 200 they advance to like the age group online qualifier, the online competition to qualify for the games. And so my goal honestly was to make it into the age group online qualifier.
Awesome.
And so I hit that.
Yeah.
And I was very excited. And then in the age group online qualifier, I got 81st in the world. And so I was super, super happy with that. Very proud of my performance.
Yeah, well, I would be too. That's amazing. So, were you able to even make it to the games, or like what was that? How does that work for
the games? Only the top 10.
Okay.
Qualify for the CrossFit Games.
Okay.
So I didn't make it, but I'm still very happy with how I did.
Yeah, that's a great number. Great number. So, what are your thoughts of, Dave Castor like canceling the age qualifiers in like the teams for the games this year?
Yeah, so I think, in my opinion, the teens and masters deserve to go to the games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they work just as hard as the pro athletes to go, and put in the same amount of time and effort, and so I think that they deserve to go be there and compete.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with since you've been like working out at home, have you been like working on like weaknesses at all that you've been having like troubles with, or like at the house, or what are your weaknesses and what have you been kind of like doing to, get them better?
So a big weakness of mine is cardio conditioning stuff, running specifically. So fortunately I can work on that at home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been working on running. And then with private training, I've been able to get like some weightlifting and stuff in, which has been good. So just form and technique with that is always something that needs to be improved.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then swimming right now I was doing swimming to help with breathing control, which was a big issue for me, and the pool's closed right now, so really running is what I've been working on. Okay,
cool. So when you go swimming, like what do you do? Like every 3 strokes, 4 strokes, or 2? Like how do you work on the breathing that way?
So I usually swim about 4 laps, and every 2 strokes I take a breath. And it just helps me. I have an issue with like breathing out. I tend to hold my breath when I'm working out. And so it just helps me focus on like really breathing out, especially deeply, so that I'm actually getting like oxygen and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? So, and it's helped a lot actually.
Yeah. So swimming's huge.
Really happy.
Yeah, swimming's really huge. I love, if I had the time to swim all the time, like I used to do it like back when I was like single and don't have any kids or anything like that. I used to swim like all the time, and it used to be like a huge help. But like now it's like it's hard like getting time, to swim and like work out at the same time. So I mean, because I usually mainly my workouts are been like early mornings just before I have to go to work. So it's like I have to start at like 5:30 at the gym and work out. But it's something to work on. But I have stuff down here, so it's a huge help. So. So I kind of want to get back to the diabetes part. So have you had like any burnouts that have come up like within like the couple of years that you've been a diabetic?
I have not actually. I've always kind of my sister had it, so it's just kind of been a part of life.
Yeah. So you
I wouldn't say there was ever a time where I was like, I don't want to manage this. Just because it's like a huge part of your health as well, and so it's very important. So I've always prioritized that.
Oh, nice. And like you've kind of had experience with your sister. Has she ever had like a burnout or anything like that, or?
Yeah, she had one, but my mom and the doctors like told her, like, this is important. You need to keep this up, and she got right back on it.
Okay, nice. So what grade are you in right now as a high schooler?
Right now I'm a junior.
Okay, so you got like another year, and then maybe like when you turn 18, you might be able to get into the more pro age, like the age group to maybe go into the games as a professional. So do you have any goals of like in the upcoming years that are coming up that you want to hit before you get to like a certain age at all, or?
So I'm actually 17 now. So this next year I'll be in the adult age group.
Okay.
And I would really like to hit a sanctionals event. I think that'd be great. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then the CrossFit Games would be.
Yeah.
That's like the big goal.
Yeah. So you could be like a Haley Adams, like going in at 18 and like
That'd
killing
be
it.
Cool.
Yeah. So where would you go for like a sanctional? Would you want to like go like overseas or stay like local around like the area, or like have you any thoughts for next year at all?
If money wasn't a factor, overseas would be great.
Yeah.
Because I love traveling.
Mm-hmm.
But probably Wadapalooza.
Okay.
Yeah, the one. That's the closest one.
Okay.
And I've heard great things about it. So.
Yeah. That's one place I definitely do want to like check out and see, because it's absolutely crazy. So, and a little known fact, Matt O'Keefe, I actually, I was my manager. I used to be a bartender back in my early 20s, and I knew Matt from back when he was like a car salesman, like not even doing anything with CrossFit yet. So, and it's pretty funny seeing him from what he was doing from then to like now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think he probably does remember me, but like I'll have to like see him face to face to even like say like, hey Matt, what's going on? Remember me? But yeah, it's been a long time ago. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, awesome. So, so with the diabetes part, so do you have like a specific diet that you like to stick to, or is it like kind of like, typical teenager, you get to eat like kind of like you kind of splurge a little bit, or like what's your typical diet like?
So I eat all clean foods. So I'd say a day of eating would look like lots of meat, and then avocados, and then complex carbs like sweet potatoes and green beans.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff like that. And sometimes if I need like some sweets, I'll have like dark chocolate.
Yep.
But I'm very strict with my eating.
Okay.
And don't like to. I usually have about the same thing every day.
Okay, yeah, I'm the same way too. So, do you have like anything that you like to splurge on at all, or?
The dark chocolate.
Yeah. Do you like eating ice cream or anything like that, or something else that like?
I do like ice cream.
Okay.
But I try to refrain because I'm like, if I start eating the ice cream, I know I want more, and it'll be there.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm the same way. Like I'll bring a carton in and it'll be like gone in like 4 days, if that. So it's like I can't do it. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to like lay off the sweets. So it's hard because obviously when you get low, you have to eat something, and it's usually like something like that, or usually a sandwich or something like that. So it's kind of difficult. So
yes, when I'm low, I'll usually use Twix candy bars, the little mini ones.
Okay.
And those, I'll be like, these are great.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, so typically when you go low, like how many of those would you need that you usually eat to try to get your normal level up?
It depends on how low I go.
Okay.
But I'd say if I'm around 70, I'll take one. And then, if I continue dropping, I'll take more. But if usually one is good for 70.
Okay, very cool. And so you did say you were on the Dexcom earlier. So what medications are you on?
So right now I'm using Novolog and Lantus.
Okay. So have you switched off of those at all, or have you tried something else?
I started with Humalog.
Okay.
And then with insurance it was cheaper to have Novolog. So we've just been using that since then.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've been using that for like a year, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of like the same thing. I use Levemir for my long-lasting stuff, and it's been working pretty good, so I can't complain. So, and do you do injections, or do you have like a pump or anything?
I do injections.
Okay. Have you been doing injections like the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Has your sister been doing the same thing too, or is she on the pump, or?
She also does injections.
Okay. For like the whole time since she was 3?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, she's interested in a pump though, so
Okay.
she's looking into that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have a couple friends of mine that are on the pump, and they've, they love it. But I've been doing injections like yourself the whole time, so I haven't really. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So, what are your favorite lifts? What are your favorite like movements that you like to do?
My favorite movements? Ooh, that's a tough one. I really like muscle ups a lot.
Okay.
And handstand push-ups, power cleans.
Okay, very cool. Yeah.
Those are pretty awesome. Yeah.
So, since you're really good at the handstand push-ups, what would you tell somebody that's having a hard time doing handstand push-ups to how to get better at that movement?
I would say, it depends on like the individual person, like what they're doing with their form and technique.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really just drive with your heels and push hard. Yeah. Okay,
very cool. And then I did see on your post on Instagram you did a Spartan race a while back, and you had the the type 1 diabetes on your forearms. So, and you talked about like you being nervous in the beginning about being a diabetic, but you're kind of not anymore. Can you kind of like explain a little bit more of that?
Yeah, so in the beginning, like the very beginning, I wasn't used to like taking my meter out and pricking my finger in public.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always like, oh man, I need to go to the bathroom. I want people to see. And so with that, I just kind of realized like it doesn't really matter what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of who I am, and I should just be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
And confident in myself. And so I stopped bringing it to the bathroom, and I realized like, oh, nobody really cares. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And so after that, I really just kind of embraced it, I guess you could say, and was just like, oh, this is just part of life now. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it when people come up to me and are like, hey, what's that on your arm?
Yeah. So
why do you have that there?
So is that one of your favorite places when you put the Dexcom like right on the arm, or is there like any other areas you like putting it?
I really just put it on the arm.
Okay.
And I switch arms every time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because with the CrossFit and weightlifting, I don't want the bar to like hit it and have it fall off or something.
Yeah. Actually, one of my previous interviews, Kelly Wild, she was a CrossFit Games 3 times CrossFit Games athlete, and then she's now an Olympic weightlifter. She said she puts it like on the top of her butt a little bit, kind of like below the hips, so like the belt won't actually like rip it off or anything like that. So because that was one of my concerns, because I don't have a Dexcom and I'm looking to get one, and like even with a pump too, just like having the weight belt there, can rub it off or like snap off, or even like I don't know how it works with you, but like I sweat really bad, and it might fall off. But have you had that situation too?
Yes. In the beginning, I didn't use one of the like patches that you put over, and it fell off actually. And I was like, oh man, I need to fix this.
Yeah.
And so, especially being in Florida, it's really hot here. So, lots of sweat. And so, I ordered some patches, and I haven't had an issue with it falling off. There was one time when I was doing ring muscle ups, and the strap caught in between the Dexcom and like my arm, and it fell off actually, and the wire is like still in there. I called Dexcom, and they were like, "Just leave it in there. It's unless it's showing signs of infection." So it's still in there. But yeah, it was just like a clean cut.
Wow, that's interesting. And actually, though, the copper wire stayed in. Yeah, I had the Libre for a little while, and I actually had it in the back of my arm, right here, and I nicked it on a chair, and like I've never used one ever since. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I could use it, but I mean, I'll definitely would like to try something else, like maybe the Dexcom, but it's just insurance stuff. It just gets way too expensive.
Yeah.
So, all right, awesome, very cool. So, do you still do, the Spartan races or anything like that, or what do you do else other than CrossFit that kind of you enjoy?
So I love to do Spartan races, but there aren't many local ones. So like whenever there is one nearby, I'm happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I enjoy going to the beach. Really outdoor things are fun. Rec soccer I do on and off. Just kind of depends on my schedule and how things are with that.
Yeah. Very cool.
And so yeah, that's pretty much
a
lot of time in the gym.
Yeah. So with homeschooling now, I mean, obviously you haven't had an issue since being homeschooled, before the coronavirus. So what is a typical day for you for like homeschooling?
Typical day for me is, let's see, I get up and I nanny.
Okay.
For someone actually from the gym. So I'll usually go over there and do that. And I'll do school while he naps, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get home and do some more school. What I like about homeschooling a lot is that I can make my own schedule. I don't have to do this amount of work in this time frame per se. So that's been great. That it's so flexible. So I'll do some school after that, and then usually get ready and head to the gym and work out. And then when I get home, I'll do more school if I need to. And that's a typical day.
All right, very cool. So what's your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is science.
Okay, very cool. So what are you learning in science right now?
Right now, I'm actually taking biology.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I took life science a long time ago and realized it didn't count as biology.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, got to cover that.
Yeah, definitely. So are you looking to go to college after this, or do you have any other plans other than college, or what's your game plan?
I do want to go to college. I'm considering maybe doing part-time though. I don't have all of that planned out, but I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So part-time is looking good just because with training hours, I'd still like to spend a lot of time in the gym.
Yep.
And then for a career, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet. Marine biology would be pretty cool though.
Yeah, that's very cool. You have a lot of time ahead of you, so don't even worry about that. Just go to school, get the general studies done, and then just figure out what you want to do from there. So, because it's funny, you'll be interested that the majority of the people that get a degree don't do the job that they went in for school with. So, I mean, you'll see it a lot, but very cool. So, we got a couple little questions left. So, who is your number one who is the person that you actually want to meet, your favorite CrossFitter that you want to see and possibly interview?
My favorite CrossFitter would have to be Katrin Davis-Daughter.
Okay.
She's pretty awesome. I really like her attitude, her mental game, and I like her personality a lot. She's just very she has the gym, but she also has stuff outside of the gym. Which I think is pretty cool. And just, her mental attitude is great.
Yeah, she's read a lot of John Wooden books, and she's like her mental game is like on point, which is insane. So like you said before,
Yes.
and what favorite male would you like to meet?
Probably Rich Froning.
Yeah, why was that?
Just, I don't know. He's just a great guy. I think, and he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be pretty cool to work out with him.
Yeah, especially in his barn next to his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a bucket list, definitely. So, all right.
Definitely.
And then the two last questions. So, where can we find you on like social media, or if anybody wants to like contact you about like a question about CrossFit or like homeschooling or diabetes? Where can they actually reach you?
So Instagram, I am Emma.Stringfellow_CF. And you can reach me there, and I actually have my email up there too. So DMs are fine, email is fine, either of those. And I don't have a Facebook or Snapchat. So.
Okay, good. That's very good. Very good.
Yeah.
You don't need those. But
Yeah.
are you on TikTok at all?
I have a TikTok, but I don't post anything.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. I don't post anything on there. So yeah.
It's just for viewing.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So the last question is, what would you tell a person that recently got diagnosed with diabetes?
I would say that, like, I know it's scary, but I would say don't let the diabetes define what you can and can't do, because like your body is so capable of so much. Diabetes is just one part. So yes, take the extra steps to really manage it and keep it under control and be healthy. But also, I'd say get out there and see if you have a dream or a goal. Just see what you can do. Don't let it stop you from doing things that you enjoy.
All right, awesome. I love it. That was a great answer. So, well, Emma, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It truly means a lot, and I'm sorry about the other week that I had to cancel, but I'm really glad that I had a chance to talk to you today. So, thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Bye.